Speaking of LinkedIn and stuff like that, I've said the word LinkedIn probably about 85 times or so in the first minute of this live. But there are other social platforms out there that we as social sellers can use to start those all important sales conversations. So we're going to focus on, as you can imagine, the biggies out there. We're probably going to be talking about Instagram, X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it nowadays. Welcome to the Making Sales Social podcast, featuring the top voices in sales, marketing, and business. Join Brynne Tillman, Stan Robinson Jr., and me, Bob Woods, as we each bring you the best tips and strategies our guests are teaching their clients so you can leverage them for your own virtual and social selling. Enjoy the show. I'm Bob Woods, social selling AI and LinkedIn strategist, consultant, and trainer, as well as a LinkedIn top voice. Joining me today are the co-hosts of Making Sales Social Live. First is fellow social selling and LinkedIn strategist, consultant, and trainer. He is also our sales navigator guru, Stan Robinson Jr. How you doing, Stan?
I'm doing fantastic. Good to see you, Bob and Brynne.
And speaking of Brynne, because she is last but most certainly not least, she is the LinkedIn Whisperer and the authority on everything that I've just mentioned, as well as an official LinkedIn insider when it comes to sales. Brynne Tillman, how you doing?
I'm good. Thrilled to be here. And because you won't brag on yourself, I'm going to brag. This is Bob Woods, who is an official top voice on LinkedIn.
I said that. I really did this time. I'm trying to use that more.
Yay. So I'm bragging again.
I'm embracing it.
Embracing it. I'm so
I
proud
am embracing it. Yes, very much so. So speaking of LinkedIn and stuff like that, I've said the word LinkedIn probably about 85 times or so in the first minute of this live. But there are other social platforms out there that we as social sellers can use to start those all important sales conversations. So we're going to focus on, as you can imagine, the biggies out there. We're probably going to be talking about Instagram, X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it nowadays, and a newer or newish kid. I'm not sure if you would still call TikTok a new kid on the block, but
it might be the old kid on the block soon.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Yeah.
That's another story entirely. So with that, let's get started. So we're going to be talking about general concepts first, and then if we can apply them specifically to these specific ones, we'll definitely talk about those as well. But the first overall thing that we're going to talk about are content teasers. So Stan, why don't you go ahead and just let us know what those are really quick?
Well, since the language of each platform is a little bit different, you won't use the same opening or hook on a LinkedIn post that you would use on Twitter. Now, I spend time on Twitter. Today, I'm here as much to learn as anything else from you two when it comes to Instagram and TikTok, because I don't spend time there at all.
Yeah.
But the point is, each platform has its own convention as far as what you're going to do. You won't use as many hashtags as on a LinkedIn post as you would on Instagram.
That's right. That's yeah.
So
Right. So yeah. So to get them over to your LinkedIn though, sometimes you may want to do a content teaser. So that, in other words, is just teasing people over from these other platforms over to your LinkedIn platform, right, Brynne?
Yeah, so that's exactly right. So if you create little video shorts that go to an entire blog post or maybe slider or ebook that you have inside of LinkedIn. So the teaser really is about bringing people from Instagram, from TikTok, wherever you are, have a link. Like on Instagram, you can have a link and that can link back to your LinkedIn profile, your LinkedIn content. So the teaser is a 30-second or even 15-second video for a TikTok, or on Twitter, it could be just an interesting tweet or concept with a read full post. But the teaser is about bringing people on the other platforms to LinkedIn. Did I get that right, Bob?
Yeah, you got that right. And we're actually going to be after our next one, where we're actually going to be talking about a channel strategy that I have taught in the past that I've totally forgotten about until this came up. But you can actually put kind of a strategy behind this whole thing and channeling people from other platforms to LinkedIn. And we're gonna actually talk about that right now, because Stan touched on this a little bit before, but platform specific hooks are very important, just as Stan just said, because each of these other platforms do have their own flavors. They do even have their own audiences to a certain point, and to a certain respect. And you're trying to get to those audiences with your voice, but yet in a way that it's going to be pleasing to them. So Instagram, it's going to be images or it's going to be videos. Twitter, there's actually something that I'm going to talk about in a minute that I am seeing that's working very well. It has to do with multi-threaded posts, and I'm going to go through a little bit about how that's working, because I'm seeing it working. It's working pretty well. But then obviously with TikTok, you don't have to dance, so don't worry about that. But more fun and engaging videos, almost edutainment type videos on TikTok. And if you're interested, I did a previous interview with Alex Sheridan. He does a lot of those edutainment type videos. So if you want to find out more about those, go back to I have no idea what episode number it is, but it's Alex Sheridan. We had a very long discussion about that type of thing.
So I love that. And, I think there's such a miss when we treat every platform the same. And I'm guilty of this, right? We create a video for LinkedIn, and that's the video I'm putting up on TikTok. That's the video. So to Stan's point, I'm kind of learning. We're learning together, because we have such a strong focus on LinkedIn as a company that we typically are not embracing all of the ways that we can leverage these other platforms to drive traffic back. So, Bob, I think you picked this topic. I think it's a brilliant one. Talk about your multi-thread approach.
Yeah, so I'm actually I'm not going to be able to show it, but to describe it, I am going to pull up. Oh, and it went away. But basically what people have been doing, they've been doing like 10, 8, 10, 12, whatever, multi-threaded posts. So they will start off with a topic, have an eye-catching graphic, and then they'll do like one of X, with the X being how many however many threads that they're putting into it. And then they'll just keep essentially replying to themselves, but they will build out a larger post within Twitter/X/ whatever you want to call it, about whatever subject that they're teaching. But it generally is educational in value. And I've been seeing this for about the past 4 or 6 months now. This is something that really brings over our ethos when it comes to education and when it comes to providing value added content that just hasn't been seen on X before. But now more and more people are doing it. And just from the engagement that I'm seeing on X, it really definitely seems to be working. So what you do is, and if you go through your For You, you will probably come across this yourself, because a lot of people are now using this. So what you'll do is you will build out ahead of time, obviously, separate things that you can, like, if you're going to do like a bullet point type of thing in a LinkedIn post, you can build that out a little bit for this X strategy. And then within each reply, 2 of 10. You're going to build out this point. 3 of 10, you build out another point. 4 of 10, blah, blah, blah. You take all that through, and then at the very end, you can have a CTA at the very bottom if you're linking this to an ebook that you're giving away or an offer that you're doing or whatever. And then in another reply, you can also push people to your LinkedIn directly from that, because you put your LinkedIn profile URL there as well.
So can I confirm this? Because I'm trying to absorb it. So we have one tweet, and then we are replying to our own tweet.
Yes, we are replying to our own tweets for each and every single one, and that builds out a much larger thread.
And then when people go to reply, they could reply either on the main one or each of the subcategories.
Exactly.
I love that. I've never done that, and I think that's brilliant.
Yeah. It's absolutely brilliant. And I had always been looking for something about X that we could really sink our teeth into when it comes to using it in the way that we use it. I think this is it.
Okay, well, let's put it on our radar. We'll give it a shot and report back to everyone. And FYI, our Alex Sheridan's episode is 133.
133. So episode 133 for those edutainment style videos. So just what I was mentioning before at the very end, what we would probably add to that is putting in your LinkedIn and encouraging people to go to your LinkedIn profile. This gets to the channel strategy that you really should be using in all of your social channels on your profiles in each of these, because they will generally let you put a link into whatever you want to. We recommend that you put your LinkedIn URL for your profile in there. This is so that when they land on your LinkedIn profile, you're automatically seeing who they are because you see that in your who's viewed your profile. At that point, you can reach out to them and then do what we always teach in terms of, hey, I noticed that you visited my profile, was wondering, what brought you here today. At that point, they will probably say, hey, I saw your X thread on X, Y, and Z and thought I'd check out more about you, or I saw your TikTok on something. You really want to push that channel into your LinkedIn, whether it's Instagram or blah, 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 or whatever. The one caveat that I would have is to make sure that your LinkedIn profile supports whatever messaging you're using on the other platform. So to put it way overly simplistic, you sell items that are purple and you do everything that's purple. You don't want to talk about something that's red in your X or your Instagram or whatever, and then push them through and it's talking about nothing but purple. So whatever that is to your situation, just make sure that your profile supports whatever it is that you're doing on the other platforms.
Yeah, that consistency in brand and messaging is really important when we're using this for business development. And I'll tell you, like, my Facebook is my personal Facebook.
Same here.
And it's not consistent there, but in that case, I don't stream to my personal Facebook. I stream to the Facebook business. So yeah, I think that's really smart to do that. So what, the next one, if you don't mind, find and invite targeted audience. This is the one that I added in earlier. So I wanted to just chat about this a little bit, because here's the thing is you've got to figure out where your audience is hanging out. And if people will say I'm B2B, they're only hanging out on LinkedIn. It's not true, right? Where you're B2B, where are you hanging out? So there are other places, and you may be getting them in a different mindset. And so I think, as much as, I like the edutainment in LinkedIn, but the quick, fast paced on TikTok can be different than a little more methodical in your approach on LinkedIn.
Yep.
Right. So, and, you really can find the right people there. You can also find the right people and companies. So if you go to a company site and you go, okay, this is a company that I'm prospecting, and you go down, you'll see their social media handles. It's not just LinkedIn. They may even have Pinterest, right? Like, go check out their handles and follow the companies. Go in, and I think this is really important. Get on the radar of the companies on all the platforms where they're hanging out. So just know that I'm projecting, because my assumption was, we're so late to TikTok, but my assumption was, our professionals aren't hanging out there. They are. And so even if they're hanging out there personally, now when I'm on YouTube, I am fed two types of content: Amazon reviews and AI ChatGPT stuff. Yeah. So that's what I'm being fed, right? So I am there personally and professionally. And so many of our buyers are too.
Yep. Could not agree with that more. So that actually gets into our number 4, which actually, because you're gonna find a target audience when you do cross promotion with influencers, because the influencers are obviously going after the same audience that you are. They just happen to have more because guess what? They're influencers. So connect with all of them. Hopefully you can get them to share posts, whether it's your LinkedIn post directly or a post from, if you're on Instagram, and hopefully they can redo a whatever it's called on Instagram. I don't even know. It shows you how, I know some stuff about Instagram. There's stuff that I don't know, but along those lines. So all of the stuff that we've talked about before when it comes to connecting with LinkedIn with influencers, same thing, other platforms.
Stan, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, just that what you mentioned about looking at the social icons and profiles on company pages, because they do list all of them, is great. And one thing, Bob, that you mentioned earlier, very quickly, is directing people back to your LinkedIn profile, which of course means that you need to have one. Brand needs to be consistent with your message. There are a lot of people, I can almost guarantee this, on Instagram and TikTok who say, why do I need a LinkedIn profile? My folks are here. But the fact that you can see who's looked at your LinkedIn profile, you cannot do that on the other platforms. And that alone is really powerful in terms of leveraging the who's viewed your profile, for the reason you mentioned, Bob.
Yeah. So just to be clear, on most of the other social platforms that we're talking about, at least you can't do that. It can be done on TikTok, but there's a couple of things that you need to do ahead of time, and it's not really great. If you're really looking to like capture that information, pushing them through to LinkedIn is definitely the best way to go when it comes to that.
So I love that. Let's just talk a little bit. We put down cross promotion with influencers, but it's also kind of affiliates or networking partners.
Yep.
So cross promotion is huge. And this is actually something that we as a team have really been focused on, building out a network that we can promote and that can promote us. I am part of a group called JVMM. It's Joint Ventures Members something, but JVMM. And I've been in it for years. And it's made up of experts that all sell to entrepreneurs and coaches, and are where that fits into our membership, right? So we can refer other people. In fact, we have them as master classes on our site, and they help promote us. But this is really important. So go out and find your group of 8 or 10 people. Think of this almost like an online BNI, Business Networking International, or the TIP, right? Where you go out and you find people that are selling into the same type of customer, but are not a competitor. So for us, it's often a website builder, right? Someone's building a new website. They need profiles made over. They're looking to draw traffic to that website. We're often a next step. A sales trainer for us, right? A sales trainer does everything from hello on. We get them to hello, right? So so find your people. That's my point here. Find those people. Best way to do this is ask your current clients who else they're working with. Who are their other trusted advisors? Meet people that you share a client with already, because you probably have a similar ethos. You probably are, if the client is attracted to the two of you as vendors, you probably have a very similar approach to business. So those are people to network with, but they're also people to help you get your message out cross-platform, on LinkedIn, on X, on TikTok, wherever they are. You guys can help to amplify one another's message.
Yep. 100%. 100%. So that actually threads into our next point, which is integrated campaigns. So, don't treat all of these things separately. You can actually use all of them together. And we've talked about, channeling to LinkedIn, but you can also channel among these various social islands, especially, I mean, island may not be the best thing to call them unless
I
you
like island, and we're building the
island hopper.
bridges.
Yeah, we hop from the Instagram island to the LinkedIn island to, it's like Hawaii. You go island hopping and stuff like that.
Yeah, but we're going to build the bridges.
Yes.
And that's what I love. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Like that a lot. So,
the next one I'm going to say about, you started, but I'm really excited about integrated campaign.
Well, no, if you're excited about it, you go for it.
Yay, thank you.
Look at her. My God, that's great.
So I love the idea of integrated campaigns. We are really focused on two major campaigns with our clients. I mean, there are many campaigns, but the first one is polls, right? So you put out a poll on LinkedIn and you proactively invite people to engage on that poll. You make a list of your first degree connections that you want to engage, and you start a conversation around a poll that leads to, no, it doesn't lead with your solution, it leads to your solution, but it helps you to start more conversations around a question or a topic that your prospects are interested not only in voting, but seeing how their peers are voting, right? Knowing you kind of, that's a big one. And that's one thing that I love that LinkedIn does really well, is you have to vote on a poll before you can see how other people voted.
Yep.
And so, you're going to vote, or our prospects are going to vote simply to see how other people voted. So when you're asking that poll question, you've got to be really, really specific, and it has to create enough curiosity for them to want to vote. So, but you can create that poll on LinkedIn, but you can promote that poll on Instagram with a link.
Mm-hmm.
You can promote that poll on TikTok, on X, and bring them back to LinkedIn. Now, they will have to get on LinkedIn they have to log into LinkedIn in order to vote on that poll. But if they're not on LinkedIn, they can actually see the poll and it'll say log in to vote. So were you going to add to that? I saw that. Nope. Okay.
Oh, no, I was just
an itch.
Scratching an itch,
like,
which
hey,
is what this entire thing is about, is scratching itches about cross-platform. Stan, do you have anything?
Not anything on this. I'm taking notes.
He is.
All right. So my next one, which is our big launch, and we've had some incredible success with some of our clients, and one that we did is prospect by interview. And this is a campaign where we're putting together an ebook based on insights of our client, and then they are going out and interviewing prospects to be part of the ebook. It does all kinds of amazing things in a sales environment. It's a slower process with a big ROI at the end, but you build deeper relationships, really fun stuff. We actually have a class coming up on that. If you go to socialsaleslink.com/events, you can find the prospect by interview class. But we are really focused on LinkedIn only in this approach. However, you can use all of these other tools to find and engage your ideal prospects, and use Twitter or TikTok to promote this, right? So maybe it's, are you a chief marketing officer who's looking to amplify your voice? Apply to be part of this publication, and you can put that anywhere, right? So you can lead it all back to one project. So that's just one of the projects. But the integrated campaigns, you could be running contests, challenges, and bring it all back. Have a hub. Your hub may not be LinkedIn. Maybe your hub is your website and all of these or a landing page, and so the campaign might be to download an ebook that then leads to something else. But have a hub where you're bringing everyone to one place, and you're meeting that goal of identifying, engaging and identifying all the right people.
Yeah. A great way to spur campaigns and to really spur excitement for campaigns is doing what we're doing right now, and that's live sessions. Now, we're not doing a campaign, but a live session where you can take comments from from people and everything are really good. Now we do ours on we actually go out to all of our platforms, but our main emphasis is kind of LinkedIn lives right now. Although, you know, we're on LinkedIn, we're on X, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube.
We have 8 people watching on YouTube right now.
On YouTube right now. So yeah, so that's great. So you know, you can conduct these live sessions and then direct to your LinkedIn for more in-depth information, further engagement. There is a tech thing that I want to drop here really quick. Lives on Instagram are not easy to do. If you feel that your audience is primarily on Instagram, it might be worth it for you, but it involves like some API and some things that you need to do prior to like every single session that we've kind of opted out on doing just because it's just too much of a pain. But you know, if your audience is there, it might be worth it. For TikTok, you need to have a minimum number of followers before you can go live. And there's like 2 tiers. I forget what the numbers are. You can Google those really quick, but you can't just start a TikTok account and just expect to go live immediately.
Terrific. So live sessions, great cross-platform. We're doing it right now. So
yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
So
go ahead. Yeah.
Oh no, I was just going to say because man, we are cranking along here. So let's talk a little bit about interactive content, which we have touched on. You know, the polls, the quizzes, Q&A sessions. This live is interactive content, but there are many, many different ways to really be interactive with your audience. And also when it comes to interactivity, just like on LinkedIn, don't forget just simple responding to comments and doing that type of thing as well. I can't tell you how many times I've seen, especially on TikTok, these creators, they don't respond. And especially on TikTok, for whatever reason, there is a greater expectation of viewers that the creators will respond, and people will even get called out within the comments of a video if the creator is not responding. And I mean, you should do that no matter where you're at. Don't get me wrong, but you know, realize that a great way to have interactivity is just through comments, but you can also use all the other tools that are available within these platforms as well.
I love that. You know, the last one, I think what's on the list is not nearly as important as I think kind of wrapping this up with an all-inclusive conversation about really the goal here is to get engagement and to drive. We're on this, at least if you're following us and you're on Making Sales Social, our goal here is to start sales conversations without being salesy, right? So how do we do this, right? We bring value. We in this cross-platform way is to start to build a new audience that we may not have even known was out there. YouTube has been huge for us in a way. Like we are now really connecting and engaging with folks on YouTube. Thank you guys who are listening live. You know, it's grown week after week now that we're really focusing on cross-platform. But we're going to bring you back to LinkedIn, right? So we're going to say, you know, come back to LinkedIn or attend an event, right? So we have socialsaleslink.com/event. If you actually join the LinkedIn library, which is socialsaleslink.com/library, or you can scan the QR code if you're watching, you'll get invited to all of our public events. But the bottom line in all of this is about finding where your audience is and growing a following there. But I do believe having one home base. Like, what's your home base? And you don't want it to be so watered down that everything gets siloed. Build the bridges from your islands to your home base. How about that?
I think that's an amazing way to wrap things up here today. So just want to thank everyone again for joining us on this episode of Making Sales Social Live. If you're with us live on, here we go, folks, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or X right now. And I think I'm never going to call it Twitter again after this. We're just going to call it X from here on out. Elon Musk, if you're listening, you're not listening, you're welcome. So, we do this every week. So keep an eye out for our live sessions on any and all of those platforms. Now, if you're listening to us on our podcast, which means that this is recorded, but you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe or follow button to access all of our previous shows and be alerted when new ones drop. More info on our podcast is available at socialsaleslink.com/podcast, because we like to make things easy. We do 2 shows, this one and our Making Sales Social interview series. So we do those every week. And on the interview series, we talk with leaders and experts in sales, marketing, business, and many, many more areas. So when you are out and about, be sure to make your sales this week
social.
Don't miss an episode. Visit socialsaleslink.com/podcast. Leave a review down below. Tell us what you think, what you learned, and what you want to hear from us next. Register for free resources at linkedinlibrary.com. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Play. Visit our website, socialsaleslink.com, for more information.